Believe it when people show you who they are. And also, remember, if they're asking for too much, you might have to cut them off. We're going to get into it. Let's get it. Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that are shaping today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for our video, podcast, and YouTube exclusive content. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family, hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, it's a Sibling Happy Hour. I'm here with my sis, Aundrea. We're going to be dilly-dadding a little bit. Then we're going to be talking about menopause. And then we're going to be talking about friends that ask for a little too much. But that's enough of the intro. Let's get to the show. What up, sis?
What up, brother?
I can't call it. But I can't call it. Okay. This ain't a situation where I can call it. I can't call it.
Okay.
However, I had an interesting conversation with somebody. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics of the conversation because people are tired of me telling their business. Mm-hmm. And that's understandable. Yeah. But I know I've talked about this before on my own show, but I want to get your perspective on this. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine just ended a friendship with another friend of theirs.
Okay.
And the reason is because that friend of theirs did something a little bit shady. And when my friend told me the story, I said, I don't know why you're surprised. This person has shown you who they were to everybody else. You just thought you was different. Mm-hmm. And it's a common misconception that people have when they deal with their friends, family. For me personally, women that I've dated, like they show you who they are, the way they interact with other people. That's who they are. Don't think that you're going to be treated differently. You're not special. You're going to catch it. It just may take a little while.
Like, have you ever seen the movie He's Just Not That Into You?
I think I have. Who was in that movie?
Where he talks about being the rule and not the exception. Most people are the rule. Most people are not the exception.
Yeah, but they always think that they are the exception.
They always think that they're the exception. No, you're the rule. If you could watch somebody do another person dirty, know that you could be next. It's like, don't think just like, dang, they did that person dirty. Oh, well, no. Remember that. Don't forget it. And remember that when you start letting information out, remember that this person, somebody said this once, and it's true. If you see somebody kill a bug outside, don't trust that person.
Wait a minute. What? No,
because a bug just outside in the world in its habitat.
Okay. Did the bug fly in your face and you swatted it away?
No, you walking down the sidewalk, you see a bug and you step on it. Yeah, I don't trust a person like that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That bug was just literally living its life in its habitat, and you came and stepped on it. No, I don't trust. People will show you who they are. Like, watch them. Watch how they are with their friends. Watch how they are with their coworkers. Watch how they treat people in the service industry.
That's
watch
a big
how they
one for
treat
me.
Their family. Like, just watch and you'll see a good indicator. I think it's always a good idea for one of your first dates to be going out to dinner, because you got to see how that other person treats people in the service industry.
Well, you ain't got to look. As a male, I say you ain't got to go out to dinner because it's coming out of our pockets. I say you can go to a drink.
Saying.
You go to a restaurant, have a drink.
But my point is, like, you want to see how they interact with people in the service industry. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, so I went out on a date probably about a month ago or something like that. And I picked up on the fact I'm very keenly aware, because I'm always like, thank you so much.
Yes.
May I?
Yes.
Thank you. Please. That's who I am.
General common courtesy.
That's who I am. And this person didn't get nasty or rude, but just was basically like almost didn't acknowledge them.
Yeah.
And I mean, it wasn't rude, but it wasn't up to my standard of how
Right.
I think people should be treated. When somebody brings something to you, even if it's their job, you say thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You just say thank you. When they drop that plate or they drop that drink or whatever, like, oh, thank you so much. If they come and they start, clearing away dishes, thank you.
I
Because
don't
they
understand.
could have left that dish right there, crowding up everything, getting in the way. Like, just because they're in service doesn't mean you're gonna get good service. Okay. So when you do, acknowledge it.
Just because they're in service doesn't mean that they're your servant.
Thank you.
Yeah, but back to this thing about people, showing you who they are. I had this friend in high school. People that know me and know me back then are going to know who I'm talking about, but I'm still not going to put this person's name out there like that. Well, I wouldn't put this person's name out there anyway, but whatever.
Regardless.
They had sticky fingers. What I mean by that is I couldn't go anywhere with them
Yeah.
without them pickpocketing something.
Yeah.
Walk out of the grocery store and be like, hey man, I got this stuff. I was like, you got money.
Right.
Just buy it. Why do you always need to steal?
Klepto.
Well, it was more than that. This person just wasn't a trustworthy person. And I picked up on the fact that I was like, you stealing and you don't have to steal.
Right.
It's not, I understand the allure, as Jay-Z says, of breaking the law. I get it. It is somewhat intoxicating.
Yeah.
But like you clipping a Snickers bar from the 7-Eleven,
like, what was the point of that?
What's the point of that? And that person, and that person kind of betrayed me later on in college and said something to a female friend of mine that I told him in confidence that I obviously didn't want her to know. And he did that to do an end around to try and get with her. And I was like, I knew you was this person this entire time. I knew who you were. I've had it with females that I dated, like certain ways that they treated their parents.
Yeah.
And I was like, how you gonna get mad at your dad because he's sick? Just because it's a holiday and you had this all planned and you was really looking forward to the holiday, your dad is sick.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of being upset that the holiday is ruined, you should be worried about how sick your father is.
Yeah.
But once again, I'm always thinking I'm special just because mom and dad told us we were special.
Yeah.
I think I'm the exception to the rule, and I ain't never been the exception to the rule.
Well, and also you got to ask yourself, do you want to be?
Sometimes. Why not?
No, because I mean, this person is not trustworthy. Do you really want to be the exception to the rule of a person that is not trustworthy?
Well, hold on. Not trustworthy or not nice. There's two different things.
No, I'm talking about your scenario.
Well, which one? Because I gave you two of them.
The person with the sticky fingers. Like,
yes, that's
like, do you want to be the exception to a person like that? I'm gonna tell you, I actually, it was a long time ago, but I heard a friend that I considered a friend at the time talking crazy to her mother, and I was like, oh no. And I'm not friends with that person because I'm like, if you could talk crazy to your parents,
hold on now. Did they talk crazy to their parents in front of folks, or you just heard them and it was supposed to be private?
I was standing there.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, you can't do that. Now, talking crazy to your parents, look, I'm tired of raising my parents, okay?
They hard-headed.
They're hard-headed. They hard-headed as hell. And every now and then, you got to check them. You got to be like, look, I'm tired of raising you, okay? You're supposed to be a grown-up. Stop being this stubborn, but I would never do it in front of somebody.
Yeah, no, this was not a situation where this person was like asserting a boundary or something like that. No, they were just talking crazy to their mother. And I was like, oh, no. Because if you could talk that crazy to your mama, what you saying about me behind my back or something like that? Or what would you say to my face? Or what would you say about me in front of other people? I was like, nah, nope. No, when people show you who they are, believe them.
I lost a friend, somebody that said they was like my big bro, because I hired them and then had to fire them.
Yeah.
And another mutual friend said, don't do that. Don't hire him. And I was like, no. That's my big bro. You know how they are. I was like, nah, ain't gonna do me like that.
Mm-hmm.
Damn sure did me like that. And
Yeah.
almost like like jeopardized my standing in the company.
Yeah.
Because here I am, the boss. I hired you. I'm
Yeah.
vouching for you. I'm paying you more than I'm paying anybody else because you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be my homie and I trust you. And here you go screwing me. And
Yeah.
it was like that person had always shown me who they were.
Yeah.
Always. See, that's my problem. I be trusting in the good in people when I should just trust in the real.
No, your problem is you expect people to behave like you
Yeah. Well,
instead of taking them as who they are. You're expecting people to treat you, treat your business, treat your things, treat your space, everything the way you would. That's what you're expecting. That's what
yeah.
we're all expecting. We're all
What?
expecting to be liked, loved, respected the way we would respect and like and love somebody else. And when they don't act the way we expect them to act, then it's like there's a problem. So no, yeah, you do have to meet people where they are. But if people are showing you that they're not trustworthy, they won't keep your confidence, they're not honest, things like that, believe that. Believe that for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying. When you're like you're looking for people to respect you and your surrounding and your things as if you would.
Mhm.
Sometimes, sometimes people's expectations are higher than their standard.
Yeah.
Their standard for themselves.
Mhm.
They expect more from other people than they expect from themselves. And that's the
Yes.
thing that really be driving me crazy. I'm like, but hold up though. You be doing this. So how you gonna expect me to
Right.
be better than you when you doing the same thing?
Right. How
Well,
you gonna get mad at homeboy for doing fraud and you do fraud?
you do fraud. I don't do that type of fraud though.
You sell drugs in the community. You're like, how you gonna come on? How you gonna fight that? So yes.
People be out here being real life bona fide hypocrites. And
Yes.
I will not throw everybody out and not call myself out as well, because I be a hypocrite sometimes too.
Yeah.
However, when somebody calls me out on my hypocrisy, I'm like, oh, you know what? You did right on that one. You
Mhm.
did right. I had to call
Yeah.
somebody out.
Sometimes you just have blind spots and you don't realize it.
I had to call somebody out for their hypocrisy on religion.
Mm-mm.
Well, you know me. I love when I get one of them hypocritical Christians start getting the preaching. I'll be
Mhm.
like, okay, well, what about this, this, and this? We all sin. I was like, yeah, but you judging other people's sins a whole
Right.
lot hell harder than you judging yourself. And so
Right.
this person was like, what did the person say? This person sent me a meme.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, you really don't know me. Because they sent me a meme and it was basically a bro joking on a trans person.
Yeah, they don't know you.
And I was like, why'd you send this to me? Because it's
Yeah.
funny. They say that there's something that they're not. And I was like, I'm not your ally for this one.
No.
For this one. You honestly don't know me.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's against God's word. I was like, well, first of all, no, it isn't. It's
Yeah.
not. And I was
Didn't
like,
mention it at all. It's not mentioned.
and I was like, just because you go to Bible study, I was like, yo, didn't you just hook up with a dude that helped you out on your rent? And you thought this was your man?
No, didn't I see you eat a seafood boil the other day? We're not supposed to be eating shrimp and stuff that crawl on the bottom of the ocean according to the Bible, but I swear I saw you eating a seafood boil the other day.
Not
So
not the
you
whole
already
seafood boil.
you already wrong.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on, you out here having premarital sex? And I was like, the Bible say absolutely something about that. I was like, the Bible also talk about judging, right? The
Mhm.
Bible also talks about vanity. I was like,
Mhm.
you out here doing some of the most, you participate in a lot of the 7 deadly sins, but you want to judge somebody else on something that the Bible don't even talk nothing about.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the number one hypocritical thing about Christian nationalism.
Ooh,
It's like, I'm sorry, if Jesus didn't say nothing about it, baby, leave me alone.
Well, I'm not. We're not gonna get into the religion conversation, folks. I
Right.
promise. I promise we're not going. But
We're not
I
gonna
am gonna
do it.
say this one thing, and
Okay.
hopefully it won't lead into a deep dive. I don't want it to, but I do have to say this: American religion is not true Christianity.
Well, you just said something that's you gonna receive so much hate mail.
Yeah, I know I am, and you know what? I don't care because it's not American. Okay, I said something. It was real generalized. Let me get real
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah.
Evangelical. No, there's a lot of different denominations
Yes.
in America
Yes.
that say that they're Christian, but they really focus on a lot of the Old Testament, and that is the
Yes.
be all end all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you say you're a Christian.
You're supposed to be
Christianity
in
is,
the sequel.
yeah, Christianity is based on
You're
Jesus
supposed to
Christ.
you're supposed to be in God book 2.
Right. And they stuck in the Old Testament, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. When you look at a lot of the laws that were established, how this country was established, it was Old Testament.
Mm.
Old Testament. So yeah, that's what I mean by a lot of people. If you out there practicing Jesus's teachings, his true teachings, then you practicing
Well-
true Christianity. But a
well-
lot of American Christianity.
And we only say that because we only know Christianity in America because
I
we're
don't know nowhere
American,
else.
so we don't know nowhere else.
I don't know nowhere else.
I would limit it to things like Christian nationalism, religious right, and things like that. And the reason being, the reason they stay in the Old Testament as opposed to book 2, okay, is because Jesus isn't giving them anybody to hate.
Well, let's not just solely say Christian nationalism, because I know a lot of Baptists that be preaching that same type of hate.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I said there's a lot of look, Mormons, they excluded Black people until the 70s.
Yeah.
You couldn't even be Black and Mormon. Now I walk down the street, Mormons is all up in my face talking about, hey, you want to go to church? I was like, I thought I wasn't allowed. All right, that's enough of religion because we gonna go off on a
tangent.
Yeah, we definitely gonna do that. But I tell you what's also crazy.
What's that?
Menopause. We gonna get into that next. Jay, we're gonna talk about menopause. And look, some of my men are going to be turned off by this, but don't worry, guys. I'm going to bring it all around the reason why this affects you as well and why you need to be a little bit more considering the fact that you don't have to go through this. Even though, Jay, you said you wanted to go through menopause, and I don't even know what that is.
I said we could talk about menopause, not that I wanted to go through menopause. I don't even want to go through menopause.
No,
why would I want to?
I didn't mean go through it. I meant like get to it, talk to it, talk about it, because I don't even know what menopause is.
Some made it up. I don't think it's
okay. All right. Well, I was reading this article. It was in NBC News. It's written by the contributing editor. This tastes pretty good. This tastes pretty good. By Bethany Hittman, the contributing editor from NBC News. And the title of the article is Menopause Can Do a Doozy on Your Teeth. Here's what to do. So a lot of people are like, menopause and teeth. Bruce, what is your point to all of this? My point is to establish that women be going through it. So in this article, it highlights a significant but often overlooked impact of menopause on oral health. Declining estrogen levels during menopause can trigger a range of dental issues, including dry mouth, increased risk of cavities, gum disease, and even changes in taste. Now, when I read that, I said, that's the reason why women have such a hard time picking out what restaurant they want to go to. Women, don't come at me. That's just a joke. It's just a joke. But also explains a lot. Anyway, the article features insights from both a gynecologist and a dentist who explain these effects and provide practical strategies for maintaining oral health during menopause, such as good oral hygiene, which, by the way, you should be doing anyway.
Yeah, you really should.
staying hydrated, regular dental visits, which once again, you should be doing all the time anyway.
Every 6 months.
And consulting healthcare providers about treatment options like hormone therapy. We're going to get into all of that. But Jay, at just at first glance, when I talk about menopause and oral health, that's something that really is not talked about. But like the article says, it's something that's very, very important. We'll get into the details later. But when I just tell you, there's something else you got to worry about, not just the hot flashes. What else is in menopause? You got hot flashes.
A lot. There's a lot of things
well, now it's more.
Yeah, now you just added an extra thing.
I personally didn't add it.
I mean, yeah,
I'm letting people know.
Yeah. But no, hot flashes, mood changes, fatigue, sleep disturbances, changes in libido, now my teeth falling out. Great.
Well, your teeth don't necessarily have to fall out. Okay, aside from the regular associated symptoms from menopause, of which you just established, hot flashes and mood swings, which, by the way, did not know mood swings was part of menopause. Is that also a part of premenopause?
Yes, it is. And I have a funny story about that.
Oh, no. Tell me the story.
So I don't know if it's funny, but I'm about to be over 40. Okay, in August.
Okay,
I'll be 41.
I mean, technically, you're over 40 right now.
Well, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I'm over 40. So obviously, my friends we all hitting that stage, right? So one of my friends, apparently, her husband has been telling her for some time that she has been having mood swings. She did not realize it. We all go out, and boy, she's just talking to us crazy, to the point where we're just like, why are you talking to us like this? So later on in the evening, we bring it back up again, and and she was like, did I really do that? And then it upset her because she didn't realize that your mood, yes, I mean, heavy swings. Now, I'm not talking about her specifically. I'm talking about in general, where you're up, and then boy, you're down, then you're crying, then you're laughing hysterically. Mood swings. Yes.
How you ain't got to get into specifics, but how was she talking to you crazy?
Because we were just saying, hey, the turn's coming up on the left. Okay. It was like, hey, why you got there's a lot of sauce on that okay?
It was a lot of sauce.
There was a lot of emphasis on that okay. Why, relax, But it's not anything really that's within your control. There's nothing you can do. You just gotta ride that bad boy out for several years.
So for my men that are listening to the show, it's just like, oh man, he talking about menopause. Oh, why he even focusing on that? He always talking about stuff that ain't men related. No, this is a man related, because a lot of times guys don't understand what women are going through physically. And this is what I'll say about that. Learn. It's really not that difficult. You can ask, maybe they can explain it, maybe they can't explain it, but there is Google. You can research information to find out why your woman is acting a particular way. It might legitimately have nothing to do with you, as evident.
Make sure it's written by a legitimate person and peer reviewed. Please don't just start Googling stuff about menopause, and then next thing you know, you buying her a crystal because you heard that this crystal could help with hot flashes. No, because then you're gonna get punched in the face. So read actual medical journals and information from reputable sources, please.
Yeah, not Joe Rogan. People that menopause is diagnosed 12 months after the menstruation cycle. Premenopause is the preceding phase marked by declining of estrogen. How this all affects your oral health, well, for women out there, estrogen is vital for oral tissue health. Declining estrogen can cause, once we said before, dry mouth, burning sensation in the tongue, heightened gum sensitivity, altered taste.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, what? Burning sensation in the tongue?
I mean, the rest of you is burning. Why not your tongue too? I mean, that's where you took a hot flash. I saw a woman, she was rocking a baldy. It was a video that circulated on social media. And she was outside, I think, in like a high school football game or something. It was cold out. And she was having a hot flash, and you just see the steam actually coming off the top of her head. It's insane.
Hormonal changes increase the risk of gum inflammation, gingivitis, and periodactyl disease. Now,
Periodontal.
that's what I said.
Pterodactyl is what you said. That's, I believe, a dinosaur. I'm just kidding.
It's not a dinosaur disease.
No, it's not that.
Reduce saliva production, which is essential for neutralizing acids, preventing decay. Greatly sustainable. It makes you susceptible to cavities, infections, and difficulties with speaking or swallowing. Menopause may also increase osteoporosis risk, weakening the jawbone, and potentially leading to tooth loss or complications with dental implants.
Didn't I just say teeth falling out?
Yeah. So, fellas out here, they talk about menopause ain't no big thing. We don't want to go through it. Look, first of all, you tell me that I'm going to have dry mouth. I got dry mouth all the time anyway. And I don't even know why. I brush my teeth and floss every day. I just don't know why I have dry mouth. Okay. I have had gingivitis one time. It is not cool. All right.
No.
Gingivitis is not cool. I know of a man that had to get his gums pulled down because they were raising too high that was making his teeth loose.
Yeah.
And I said, what is that? He's like, yeah, it's a common thing. I was like, then immediately I run to the mirror and start looking at my gums and saying, are my teeth loose? Because it's what, look, I could deal with a lot of things. I could deal with rashes all over my body. You can give me boils on my body.
No.
Well, as long as I can cover up and people can't see it, you can
They're
give me
painful.
Boils. I would rather go through that than lose my teeth. Because you know how much?
No, you can get a replacement.
You know how much they cost?
Yeah, a lot, but no.
A dental, it could be $2 to $5 grand per tooth. Come on, Roscoe, we trying to film a show. Roscoe's in the background barking. It is like $2 to $5 grand a tooth, unless you go to Mexico. Now, Mexico, they got good dental work in Mexico.
They got good dental work down there. I don't know what the problem is. You can get you some good dental work down in Mexico. What's the problem?
Well, I didn't say there was a problem. You got to get to Mexico.
I don't feel like my teeth falling out is that big of a deal. I just don't.
It's a big deal to me. So,
okay.
Strategies for maintaining dental health during menopause. Good oral hygiene. Brush your teeth twice a day with fluoride toothpaste. Floss daily and use alcohol-free mouthwash. Alcohol-free mouthwash. I wonder if
there is alcohol. I use alcohol-free mouthwash.
Oh, what is Listerine?
Listerine definitely got alcohol in it.
Oh, okay. You got to stay hydrated and increase your fluid intake to combat dry mouth. Consider saliva substitutes. Regular dental visits. We said that before. You got to get your checkups. You got to get your cleaning. It's crucial for all that stuff. And if you're going through it, go ahead and talk to a healthcare provider. If you're starting to have oral symptoms that are related to, menopause.
Yeah.
Because you don't want your teeth to fall out. I don't care what you say. I don't want my eyeballs or my teeth to fall out. Those are the two things.
Yeah, I definitely don't want my eyeballs to fall out. That is a much bigger issue than my teeth falling out.
Tomato.
Okay, we're going to agree to disagree on that one. But I was wrong. Menopause is not made up. That is a real thing. It is a term used to describe the natural hormonal changes that occur in men as they age.
Wait a minute. Say what now?
Yes, it's also referred to as andropause or male menopause. Yes.
So what the hell happens?
So symptoms can vary from person to person, but some common signs include decreased libido and erectile dysfunction, loss of muscle mass and strength, increased body fat, fatigue and decreased energy levels, mood changes, including depression, irritability, and mood swings, difficulty concentrating and memory problems, sleep disturbances, including insomnia, hot flashes and sweats, and reduced bone density. And it's basically characterized by a gradual decline in testosterone levels.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, our testosterone levels start to decrease at the age of 30 anyway, which is crazy because as women are going through menopause, their libido spikes. Women's libido spikes in their 40s and up.
No.
A woman's libido spikes in her 40s. Go ahead, research it.
I keep talking.
Trust me, because I done dealt with a lot of 40-year-olds, and they got the strongest libidos.
Yeah. So there's a drop in estrogen and testosterone levels during menopause that leads to a decrease in libido due to these hormonal changes.
Well, menopause is, maybe I'm thinking of premenopause, whatever. Women, it is a joke that I think God played on us. Whereas men's libidos is at the height, it's like 20, 25 years old. For women, it's like 30, 35 years old. As the man's libido starts to decline, the woman's libido starts to rise. And that's the reason why you have all these stories of these married men talking about, man, she was on me all day. I was like, look, I only got one round in me. Who she think I am? Shamar Moore? I ain't no Blair Underwood.
You got any Dramamine? I gotta have sex with your mama. Pops from the Wayans brothers. Everybody saw that. No, so yes, men's sexual drive tends to peak in their late teens and early 20s, while women often experience their peak in their 30s.
Yep.
So before menopause.
I would say that I was going through menopause, but there's a lot of things that just don't like, I am definitely not losing muscle mass or bone density.
No. Yeah. But that comes with decreased testosterone. Like
I do know that my testosterone is decreasing just because it just naturally decreases. I still think I have a relatively high level testosterone, but that just could be because I work out all the time, because that helps boost testosterone. But we going back to menopause. Look, fellas out here, you think life is easy for a woman? It seems like it's the worst. What I mean by this is, like, I'm so glad. I still think women are the superior gender. If you go by male, female gender, I still feel like women are the apex because they're smarter. They're more emotionally intelligent. They're more caring. They have a higher pain threshold. The only thing that we have over them is physical strength. That's it. It was even, I learned this. Women weren't allowed to be astronauts in NASA, right? But the women still wanted to go through the same tests that the men were going through. And they go through physical tests, they go through mental tests, emotional tests, all this type of stuff.
Right.
They found out that women scored higher on everything except for physical, because men are just physically stronger than women, but women scored higher on everything else. So they are the more evolved, more advanced version of the human species. Okay. They just are.
I don't know. I feel like everybody has the capacity. I'm speaking very generally. Obviously, there are people with certain, psychological disorders that are not capable of like empathy and emotional intelligence, right? But like in general, I think most people are capable of that. It's what does society tell us is important?
Yeah, that's the reason why I say
what is being fostered in that gender or in that sex that's not being encouraged in the other.
Yeah, no. Yeah. But that's the reason why they're more evolved.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. As a woman, I don't.
I mean, if you keep teaching kids from birth how to say their ABCs 1, 2, 3s, right? Do they 1, 2, 3s? And you have another group of kids that they don't even get that information until they're 20. Those kids that are getting that from when they're babies, each generation is going to build upon that and be more evolved. We got thousands of years where women have been given the right to be emotional, address those emotions, learn how to deal with those emotions, and men have not. Just because we getting started now don't mean that we're going to catch up. And that
And
still
I,
doesn't
and
say
I
anything about intelligence.
and I always find that strange, by the way, because for most of these things, men were the thought leaders of psychology,
Yeah.
right? Of
Of
their of like
themselves.
right, but I mean it's just like y'all y'all came up with the why aren't you investing more in the thing you
Because it
came
ain't
up
manly.
with?
And because it ain't manly. And when I say men are physically stronger, I mean simply physically stronger. They cannot tolerate the physical pain that women can. Because I
Right.
guarantee you, if men had to go through, well, I guess there is menopause, but it's not widely known, right? And not every guy has to go through it. But if men had to go through that, whoo! And that's
Yeah.
still not talking about the pain.
I sent you a I sent you a video where somebody was talking about what if you had like the male version of menopause, like most men couldn't go through it. Um but yeah, I mean, I don't know. So actually the research that comes back is that women actually don't have a higher pain tolerance than men.
How is what research is that?
Yeah, studies consistently show that women tend to report higher pain intensity and have lower pain thresholds compared to men.
For
Women
what?
women are more likely to report pain sooner when pain stimulus is applied and tolerate less pressure or intensity before reporting pain. So what
Mm,
and that's from reports. So like there's really no way to scientifically determine
yeah,
if
there
you
is.
have a higher pain threshold aside from like sitting them down, applying a painful stimulus, and when do they report feeling the sensation of pain.
Well, I
I
just
feel
think
like men would tend to hold out longer
yes,
before reporting pain.
because they're toxic masculinity, but that doesn't mean that they have a higher threshold of pain. Case in point, you've seen the videos where they have that machine that mimics menstrual cramps,
Yes.
and men double over on a 3, and women would be like, "This ain't nothing but a light Tuesday."
Right. But you got to understand that it's a light Tuesday once a month, every month. And most of these women that are in these videos are in their 20s. So maybe they've been going through it for about 10 years now. So if you experience something 12 times a year for the last 10 years and another person has never experienced it,
Oh, okay.
yes.
You saying nah, all right. I'm sitting up here trying to big up women, and you a woman
Oh,
hater.
I'm
No,
not
you
saying
anti-woman now.
no, that's we all know that's ridiculous. Uh but I'm just saying no, we don't have a higher pain tolerance or threshold or any of that. It's just we are more likely to experience chronic pain. and
And
and because of that, we are able to handle pain because we get used to it, not
look,
because it's
stop
not
trying to
there.
punch holes in my theory. I'm gonna stand by my theory that women are the more advanced, more evolved, superior version of the human species. And going through this menopause is just another prime example that you could lose your teeth just
Yeah,
being a woman.
just being a
Just
woman.
being a woman, you can
Yeah.
lose your teeth. Now, men will lose their teeth because they did something stupid, thinking that they go out there and can play softball. The sun is in their eye, softball hit them in their mouth, they lose a tooth. They
Yeah.
shouldn't have been out there trying to play anyway. You was 55 years old trying to live
Right.
dreams from 40 years ago.
You
That's
don't
how
need
we
it.
lose our teeth
Yeah. Yeah.
from dumb stuff. Y'all lose it just being in existence.
Yeah.
I swear, it's God's cruel joke on women. Y'all are the bringers of life, but also the life is sucked out of you every day.
Yeah. That's part of it, right? Like you gotta think of it like I'm probably gonna get some hate for this, but if you
Oh
think
Lord.
about it in general, a baby is sort of a parasitic organism. It is literally sucking the life out of you. Okay, that's why you had to take more vitamins and eat more and
More.
stuff because this baby is feeding off of you. Like, I mean, that's what happens. All right,
Yeah.
and then they're here, and then they age you because they be doing dumb stuff, like getting hit in the face, baseball, and knock their teeth out.
Yeah,
And then
that happens.
that's a bill for me. That's a bill now. Thank you.
Oh, they cost a lot too, but we
Yeah,
love them. I love the kids. Love the
I love
kids.
kids. Love kids.
All right, that's enough talking about menopause. Let's talk about when your friends just be asking for too much, and we're gonna get into that next. All right, Jay, it's thundering over where you at, and we might lose power. So we're gonna finish up this last segment the best we can. And it's another Reddit post, and it's called "What Should I Do?" This is what the poster writes. My longtime friend Jennifer is a single mom of 3 kids, ages 5, 8, and 10. She was married but divorced her husband about 3 years ago, and the husband isn't very involved or helpful, and the kids actually prefer not to see him. For the past 5 years, I've helped Jennifer raise her kids as she works different jobs to help support her kids. In addition to paying 30% of her rent, I often provide groceries and help with taking the kids to and from school. Yes, I know it's above and beyond, but I care about the kids and I see that Jennifer is truly struggling. Last Friday, her oldest was involved in an accident at school during their PE class. From what I was told, they were playing flag football and one of the bigger kids legit tackled her as a joke. However, this actually caused a severe injury where not only was her hip dislocated, but required immediate surgery to fix a tear in the tendon. I've spent the last 5 days at the hospital with Jennifer and her kids, bringing them food, sitting in with doctors, and taking notes, just being a support system. However, I've spent a lot of my own money during this time, and now Jennifer is asking me a lot of help. A lot of help. This person didn't write well, but that's okay. With her daughter being released from the hospital soon, Jennifer has to make up all the money she lost by not going to work and somehow pay for a lawyer to sue the school and cover all those hospital expenses. She asked me to pay her entire rent for the month of May, in addition to all that I've already spent, and says it's only for this month. This is a huge ask of me, and would essentially take up my whole paycheck. She begs me for this kind of help. I feel so bad for her since she's so emotional and stressed out from this whole ordeal, but I feel like she's also being unfair by asking me to do so much. On a personal note, she hasn't said thank you once to anything that I've done. Again, I've let it slide due to the amount of information she's getting, people that are talking to her, and family that are consistently calling her for updates. But it does anger me slightly that she hasn't shown any gratitude and is now asking me for even more. Again, I don't mean to make this about myself, but I've torn on if I should make this huge sacrifice and help Jennifer, or if I feel like she's asking for too much now. What should I or she do?
Mm, mm.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
writer. Um, Jennifer can always ask. Okay. I believe in shooting your shot. Okay.
That's a hell of a shot to shoot.
But that don't mean she gonna sink it. Okay. It's your whole paycheck. It's your whole paycheck, fam.
She already
That's a
getting
lot.
30%. She already paying 30% on the rent.
Yeah. It's you gotta tell her you ain't got it. Because if you're agonizing about this, it means you don't have it. If it was an ask that she made and you got it, you wouldn't write a Reddit post about it.
Mm-mm.
If you said it will essentially take up your whole paycheck. And you're asking me to do so much and it's too much and it's such a huge sacrifice. These are all key indicators to me that you don't have it like that. And she's assuming that you do because of all that you do for her and that you don't ask for nothing in return, including paying 30% of her rent, groceries, picking the kids up, being at the hospital, all this stuff. She's assuming that you got it. This is going to be a turning point. This could be a turning point in your friendship when you tell her, I would do anything for you. I don't have that. I don't have the whole month. I could do what I've been doing, and you could see if you could find somebody or a couple people to help you come up with that other 70%, or you can talk to your leasing office, let them know what the situation going on and see if they can make an exception or give you an extension, but I don't have it. And then watch her response, because a lot of people keep you in their life for what you do for them and not for you. And so if she starts to make you feel like you're doing something wrong by protecting your own finances and your own household, then you know where you stand with that person. But if she says, friend, I understand. I thought I'd ask because you always been here. So I thought I would ask, but I completely understand. Then, then you might even be more inclined to help her out. If she says, I completely understand, thank you so much for all you've been doing. I know I haven't really gotten a chance because everything's been such a whirlwind. I haven't got a chance to say that. If that's the turn the conversation takes, you might be more willing to say, okay, maybe I can kick in 50%, right? But all of the language in here is telling me you ain't got that. And you need to tell her you don't have it. It's hard. I know it's hard. This is your friend, your longtime friend, and you see she's struggling, but you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're struggling, but you can't fill from an empty cup. And it just is what it is.
I like your sympathetic approach to this.
Mhm.
Okay. I love the empathy and the sympathy that you are showing.
Yeah.
The poster and Jennifer.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand,
Oh boy,
am not gonna be like that.
Okay.
The hell you asked me to pay your whole damn rent for it? You out your mind? Yeah. That's a hell of an ask. And I know you say you shoot your shot. No, there's just some things that you just don't ask for. And now maybe it's something wrong with me because I'm genuinely the person that doesn't ask for help when I need it. And that's a problem in and of itself.
Right.
But this is asking for way too much. Fact of the matter is, why wasn't she taking her ass to work? Her kid needed to have surgery. The kid's in the hospital. I get it. But if your homegirl is sitting up there helping out,
right,
to take your ass to work while your homegirl is there. I can go pick up a couple of hours on my shift or something like that. Go start a GoFundMe. Start an OnlyFans. Okay? Do something. Don't ask me for your whole rent. The audacity. If the person had phrased it a little differently and been like, hey, look, things is a little tight. I got all this stuff going on. Is there any way that you might be able to give me a little extra more on the rent than you normally would? If you can't, that's cool. I understand, but a little bit more. Not, can you take care of the whole month? Because this is the one point that you didn't bring up that was specified by the poster. She said her friend said it would only be for this month. I don't believe that, because she hired a lawyer to sue the school. First of all, it's a case where it's like a car accident case. What do they call those?
Car accident?
No. Where you got the malpractice, not malpractice lawsuits, but it's like a personal liability, personal injury, things like that. Personal
injury, yes.
They take that. They don't take no money up front. They take it. They cut at the end when they win.
Right.
So what lawyer fees are you paying? That's first and foremost. No, that's second, because I already pointed out how the hell she gonna ask for the whole month, right? So that's second.
Right.
That's actually third, because the second thing that I pointed out was that she could have been taking her ass to work when a friend was there. She might as well just move in with a friend. You paying 30% on the rent anyway. How much of a friend do you got to be when you're hurting yourself in the process?
That was my point. Like, you cannot overextend yourself.
I'm not talking about overextending
regardless
yourself.
Of their situation. You can't put yourself in a bad situation to help them out of a bad situation.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about when is it a time where you be selfish for yourself and say, hey, look, friend, I love you to death, but you are costing me money that I could be doing other things with. I could be living my life. You're hindering me living my life because at no point did she say that her friend was like, yeah, once I get on my feet with these other jobs, you won't even have to pay me the 30%. No, this is a built-in monthly expense for your friend. And look, I'm all for helping people. I'm all for it. But for her not to even say thank you, that means that she feels like this help is just part of the friendship.
That's why I said to clock her response to saying no.
Yeah,
And
but
it to me, it doesn't. It says in addition to paying 30% of her rent, I also provide groceries. Yes, I know it's above and beyond, but I care about the kids and I see Jennifer is truly struggling. So it doesn't sound like this is something Jennifer is asking for. It sounds like it's something that the author is offering.
so you
But
think that the author has been offering this, and that gave Jennifer the idea, like, can you just take care of all the rent since you're doing so much anyway?
yeah. That it makes me think that Jennifer thinks she's got it like that. You need to let her know that to pay her entire month of rent, I don't have that.
Well, she said to just take up her whole paycheck.
Yeah, that means I don't have it because I have my own bills and expenses and things I have. I can't spend my entire paycheck and I'll get another one for 2 weeks. Like I can't go 2 weeks broke so that you can have your rent paid. I don't have it. And
And
then
she,
clock her response.
yeah, but my thing was she had family calling to ask about the kid. Family need to be like, hey, go take a collection plate at the local church to help
Right.
out with some of these bills.
Right.
I am
I
just
think it's
flabbergasted.
yes, I'm not saying that it wasn't the fact that she put entire rent all in caps, a huge ask again, all in caps. She also feels the same way you do. I also feel the same way you do. But I'm trying to look at it from Jennifer's perspective. You already giving me 30% of my rent every month. Can you cover the whole thing?
Can you
Like
give me 30%? Can you give
you
me
could
the whole 7?
can you
Can
just
you
for this
get
1 month? Like,
I
so I could see her train of thought. You already contributing to my rent already. You already probably got my password to the rent portal and all that stuff.
I think she might just be selling her a little bit of money or something.
Maybe,
But
I don't know.
hold on. Another thing that bothers me about Jennifer, the reason why this ass, I'm really like, I look at people and I'm like, you made decisions to get to this point. There
Yeah.
were decisions that you made before you were at this point,
Yeah.
right? Rent is due every month,
Yes.
always.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know too many times it's been an exception. Even when the first falls on a holiday, rent is due.
Rent is due.
Rent is always due.
Yes.
So you going through this whole process knowing that rent is due and you not doing anything to help to try and cut that problem off before you get to it. Right? Like just
Yeah.
there are steps that people get to. When people ask me for help, I'm always like, well, how'd you get to this point?
Yeah.
Did you do this, this, and this?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds to me like you living dumb. Why should I have to pay for your dumb actions?
Right. And also, you can't pay your rent and you only miss 5 days of work.
What?
I was confused by that. It was only 5 days. It was 1 business week.
Like 1
And
week,
you can't cover none
none of the rent. None of the rent. That's what I'm saying. That's the reason why I was like, you're being real empathetic and you're being real sympathetic to this whole situation. And I look at situations and I'm like, how did you get here?
Yeah.
What dumbass decisions did you make to get to this point? And why did you let it wait to get to this point
Right.
before asking me for help? Because if you had asked me for help 5 days ago, I would have been like, well, what are you doing to make sure that we can cut this off at the path, right? This problem off of the path. Oh, well, I haven't been able to go to work. Well, I'm here. You can leave. There's no reason for both of us to be here.
Right.
You can go.
Right.
Well, I don't want to leave. Well, then when the rent is due, that's on you. because I'm giving you options here.
Yeah.
So that when people come to me with these type of problems, I'm like, look, and I
Like
know I could be Spock sometimes and be real logical and devoid of certain emotions. But when it comes to putting yourself in dumb situations,
Mhm.
that's jeopardizing other people. See, if this was, yo, you messed up a situation, you live by yourself, rent is due, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's you. But now you affecting me and your kids because of your dumb decisions.
And I just am not buying the whole pay for the lawyer, first of all, to sue school. The statute of limitations for that, you don't have to do that right now. Like, if you ain't got the money for the lawyer, you ain't got to do that right now. You got
Nope.
at least a year,
She looking
2
for a payday.
years,
She looking
right?
for a payday.
And then as far as the hospital expenses, which is real because this is America, this is a single mom with 3 young children who clearly she works different jobs to help support kids. So I don't see any reason why these kids aren't on Medicaid. So
she might be in a state where they make it real tough to get on Medicaid. You know, they
no,
got them
single
states.
mom, 3 kids, and she's got a bunch of different jobs. That lets me know she probably does not have health insurance at these jobs. There's no reason these kids aren't on Medicaid.
Well,
So what
Medicaid
hospital
cover all?
Yes, and not only that, you can always apply for a lot of hospitals have reserves that they keep for charity, which is, and they'll cover the cost or a majority of the cost for the hospital fees. So again, it's like, I see your point too of like, okay, well, what have you looked into as far as getting these hospital, and missing 5 days shouldn't mean you can't pay none of your rent for that month.
The only thing I could think of, she worked at a restaurant and it was going to be some mega week where she was going to make her whole rent check. And if that's how she living in the first place, that's a problem
With
in and of
3
itself.
kids.
Yeah, that's a problem in and of itself. Look, I'm all for helping. This is going to come off as me just being like a hard ass. I'm all for helping people. I'm not knocking her friend for having that big heart and helping her friend out.
Yeah.
But I know this is just words on the paper. I see, will you help me out all the time anyway? What's the big deal covering this? And I also see a slippery slope where she says it's just 1 month. But some of these situations that's going on is not going to end immediately right now. Yes, the kid won't be in the hospital anymore, but it's not like the kid had to repair a tendon and had a dislocated hip. Like that kid is not going to be able to move around really well for a while. So that means she's probably going to have to be at home, which means she probably ain't going to be able to go to work. Right? If she's paying lawyer fees, that's not going to end tomorrow.
Right.
These type of personal injury type things, lawsuits, take a minute.
Yeah.
Take a long minute.
Yeah.
So I look at how problems are presented to me and what can potentially be more problematic from this one initial problem.
Yeah.
I'm always looking at.
That's why I think the author should say no. Even if she does have it, say no, just because you need to see what her response is going to be, what Jennifer's response is going to be to you telling her, no, I can't do that.
Look, she need to do the opposite of what Floetry said. Floetry said, all you got to do is say yes. All you got to do is say no.
Hell no.
On that note, Jay, what do you want to tell the people out here?
Man, don't let these people use you. Sometimes tell people no, just so you can see their response and know where you stand with them.
I like that.
Don't let these people use you.
I use no all the time. That's the reason why people don't ask me for too much anymore. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holla. Oh, shit, I'm in the middle of the screen. Shit. Hold on, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on, shit. Yeah, I'm in the middle. All right, you can hear me and everything, though, right? All right. Did you get any chance to go through the rundown?
Yeah, we talking about menopause. Should be talking about menopause.
Well, we can throw a little bit of that in there too.
And then I got the Reddit post. So
all right, so Let's try to be done. I have to. I don't have to be done, but I'm pushing it close. 5:45. So it's 4:28 right now. Let's go 5:45. Let's try to have the segments be no more than 20 minutes. And that last one, if we go long, I'm gonna cut off one of the Reddits. I want to talk about the where the friend is asking for too much, but I also want to talk about what was the other one? Shit, about talking to a family about their marriage.
Yeah.
If we run long and it's over an hour, I'm gonna cut, and then we could talk a quick 10 minutes. I do want to get into the wedding thing, and I'll put that on the YouTube exclusive.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Mhm.
How am I gonna start this shit? How am I gonna start this shit? Okay, I got it. Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead here to lead something. Here to lead something.
Because no, I'm just saying we don't have a higher pain tolerance, and I don't.
You don't.
No. Women do not have a higher pain tolerance, and if you start proposing that that is the case, we already get treated like dog shit in healthcare anyway. And
Okay.
so if people think that we can tolerate more pain, they already think that of black people,
Yeah, well.
that our skin is thicker and we can
Was
tolerate.
that thunder?
Yes, it's thunderstorm all last week,
Okay,
all this
because
week.
your internet is starting to ride out. Let's continue it before shit getting shaky.
All right. Everybody say no. You're already helping too much. You need to say no for yourself. You need to say no and start reducing contact with her. Everybody is like, no, say no.
Mm-hmm.
Say no. Even if you have it, say no.
All right, it's 5:29 right now. Let's knock this out in 10 minutes, and then I got to get off because then I got to go to work. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Woo! That was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching it to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcasts and YouTube exclusive content. But the real party is on our Patreon page, After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspectives.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you really feel generous and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciative. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.